Fat people. I have noticed over the years that there is a lot of prejudice against overweight and obese people. I am one of many people who has to face prejudice, biases, and hatred from other people who aren't overweight. And I figured I would address the top 5 that I could think of. The number 1 bias I could think of is that fat people are ugly. Now, I've been called a fat fuck, I have been called a fat ass, I've been told that my body is gross, but I've never been called ugly. And I think that how you depend on whether someone is attractive or not depends on what part of the body you focus on. For example, a lot of you look at this and you think that this is very gross. But when you look at this, a lot of people find me attractive. I'm not being conceited, I just know because I've had a lot of people like me and tell me that they found me attractive. In the face, I'm apparently quite lovely, but the rest of me is a vomit bag. You should realize that your opinion on what I look like is your opinion. It does not make it true. If you think I'm ugly because my stomach sticks out more than my boobs, then that's your opinion. I don't really care. There are a lot of people who focus on this, or even better, what I have inside of me, the things that make me me, and they care about that. From the people I know, the overweight people I know have beautiful faces. I guess if you're the type of person that stares down here and further, then you're probably going to think I'm unattractive, but when you just look at this and then you learn who I am, that's what a person should be judged on, is who they are once you get past the surface. If you think fat people are ugly, fuck you, that's your opinion. It is not a fact. Not a fact. The second one that I've heard and read a lot is that fat people have no self-control. And I wonder what they mean by that into detail, because my mom, for example, weighed over 300 pounds when I was a young girl, and she got through school as a single mother. Her husband had just left her, and it was just her, me, and my sister. She was able to get her bachelor's degree. She was able to move halfway across the country and set up her own life with her children and make sure that her children didn't go without at all. So you have to be a pretty freaking strong person to have to go through all of that. So I don't think that looking at how she used to weigh should determine what kind of person she was or how strong she was, because she's always been a strong person, no matter how much she's weighed. Now, as far as self-control with what you eat, I think that depends on the person, and I think that, doesn't just decide on fat people, because I know a lot of skinny people that eat like shit too. And a lot of overweight people that eat good. Some people are really lucky and some people are really unlucky, and a lot of it depends on your genetics. Which gets me to number 3. Fat people just make excuses for why they're fat. They just don't want to diet and they don't want to exercise, so they just say that they have a thyroid problem, or I'm depressed and I just want to eat all the time. First of all, you know that these diseases exist, right? That these disorders exist. They are real. And I did some calculations on my own. I have the statistics part on a website list, but I had to do the math by myself. Now I double checked it online to make sure I didn't fuck up. I used the 2 most common diseases that are associated with obesity, which is hypothyroidism and depression. If you say depressed people are fat because they have no self-control, then I would really enjoy seeing you go through 2 weeks being extremely depressed, being the kind of person where you wake up in the morning and the only thing you can think about is either going right back to bed or killing yourself. There's no reason to be awake for you. So if they're using food for comfort while they're getting through this illness, then who are you to fucking call them anything? You leave their eating problem to their therapist and their psychiatrist. Leave it to them. It's none of your business. But as for hypothyroidism, which I actually have, I have moderate hypothyroidism. It's called your TSH, It's the hormone that generates activity in your thyroid to keep your metabolism going. The less TSH you make, the more that your thyroid is able to produce its own, metabolism independently. That my body has to produce a lot of TSH just to make my body try to act the way that it's supposed to. And obviously it fails. So I did the combined estimate of the percentage of people that have hypothyroidism and the percentage of people that have depression, just in the US. I didn't want to go worldwide because it would be too inaccurate. And 31% of Americans that are diagnosed with the two most common illnesses that cause obesity. 31% of the two most common. I didn't go into diabetes, I didn't go to arthritis, polycystic ovary syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, and then there was Cushing syndrome. And all of those also cause obesity too. So over 31% of Americans have diseases that can cause obesity. So that means like 1 out of every 3 fat people you meet legitimately has something wrong with them. Diagnosed. This isn't counting the people that are too poor to go to the doctor or too scared to go to the doctor. The fourth one that I was able to think of is that a lot of people believe that fat people are lazy. And again, I'm going to have to assume that this means that they're physically lazy. Because, I am homeless. I have absolutely no financial support other than loans to get through school, and I'm getting through school. So I'm not lazy. I'm doing what I need to do to have a better life for myself. But as far as, physically, I looked up, and I work out about 2 or 3 times a week for about 30 minutes. It's nothing, extreme. I'm not into working out. I just try to do it to keep my heart healthy. And I looked up and it said that 80% of Americans don't exercise enough. But only 36% of Americans are obese, which means that 44% of Americans who are laying on the couch not doing shit are skinny. So why don't you shut your mouth and get on the treadmill before you start bitching about, how lazy fat people are. You're not that great yourself, you just have better genetics than us. Whoop-de-doo. And the last one, which I don't even really want to talk about because it's so idiotic that I can't really wrap my mind around the fact that people think this, but it is a common misconception that fat people are stupid. Oh my god. Okay. I looked it up intensively, and there was one study, and it looked like bullshit, that said that we have 4% less brain matter than the, an obese American. But the brain matter and the amount of function and use that you get out of your brain are two completely different things. Just because you might have less matter in your brain doesn't mean that you're not filling up what's in here more than the person with the larger brain. You can have a bigger brain than somebody and just ferment on your couch until you're dead. You're not smarter than the, fat person that gets herself a doctorate degree. And another thing is that one of the reasons I believe this is false is, that saying, if you're a cute girl, a guy will take care of you, and if you're an ugly girl, well, you better learn math. Well, it's kind of what I did. I knew I was never going to be one of those chicks that a rich guy would just pick up and take care of. And so I put a lot of effort into my education, because if someone's not going to take care of me, I'm going to take care of myself. Overweight people have more incentive to become more intelligent because they know that society doesn't accept us for our appearance, so we have to impress them with things that are beyond it. I was lucky to not really get picked on in high school. I mean, I had like 1 or 2 incidences, but it was nothing substantial. It didn't affect me. And I just hate the thought that somebody who looks like me, or who might even be smaller than me, is going to get made fun of for the way, that their body is. Like, it's not even anyone else's freaking business. So, for one, you shouldn't be talking about it, period, unless they are talking about it with you. So, to think that you have the right to make fun of somebody for something that's none of your business is just beyond me. But I think it's the same as, getting made fun of for your race, for your sexuality. I'm not saying that the types of bullying are more or less severe than the other. I know that depending on where you live, your race and sexuality might be more, the bullying might be more intense than if you're overweight. Like, if you live where I live, which is deep in the Bible Belt, you're going to get a lot more shit for being gay than you will be for getting fat. I think the real reason that people get bullied for being black, Asian, transgendered, bisexual, gay, fat, is because we don't look like everybody else. And so it scares them, and they need to try to dominate us so we don't dominate them. Because, if we're foreign, then we must be dangerous. That's why we, go kill people in the Middle East. But yeah, here's my video, and I hope you guys like it. Thumbs up if you want. Let me know if you guys want me to do a follow-up or anything like that, and I will see you guys later. Bye.